So depending on who you ask, global markets will continue to be an enigma, but one thing everyone agrees on is that gold. So why? Here to talk about the precious metal is Mike O'Kane, bullion trader with the New Zealand Mint. Hey Michael, well, first of all, just why? Everything goes up and down, volatile, gold has just gone up and up and up and up. Why?
Well, we're hearing it quite a lot everywhere in the media at the moment. The gold is the recipient essentially of a flight to safety. So it's behaving as its own currency. People are afraid to buy into the euro, they're afraid to buy into the US dollar, they're afraid to pick up treasury bonds. So they're going to gold as the next sort of global currency that everyone can trade in quite easily.
When we talk about commodities, oil being the obvious thing, we talk about oil as petrol and need a car and we get that. Gold, most people would think it's just jewellery or whatever, but it's far more than that, isn't it?
It's a multifaceted commodity. So as a monetary item, it's a very good way to store wealth. It's compact, it weighs a lot, it's dense. It has commercial use in electronics. It's globally traded. You can walk into most banks in most Western world countries and take a piece of gold in and swap it for cash. It is literally a cash item that is very good at storing wealth.
We know with sentiment plays such a big part in markets. A company has a bad report, its share price goes down. It has a sex scandal, its share price goes down. Even oil is volatile. We saw with the BP scandal, people and supply and so forth with oil. Does gold have any susceptibility to that sort of a scenario on a global scale, or is it pretty much bulletproof?
Everything has a life cycle, so gold's lifespan tends to be around 25 to 30 years, and this has been playing out for over 2,000 years now as mankind has used gold that long in its monetary system. So we're only about 5, maybe 10 years through a 30-year cycle where gold increases in value as people start to see it more as a monetary item than just a general commodity.
There are benchmarks for things, aren't there? Going back to oil again, it was around about $100 US a barrel for West Texas crude used to be the thing. It's changed a bit, but it's always hung around that. With gold, there isn't one, or can you see a point where it might sort of stop and stay?
Well, if you look at it at the moment, we've gone from 2000, where essentially we saw what we thought was the bottom of the market, and Gordon Brown, for example, in the UK, sold the UK's gold holding when it was 280 US an ounce. We've had a 540-odd% growth since that stage, probably even more after today. It's not so much a case of where does it stop, it's just how long do we have the issues that we have, and the resolutions to the issues that we have, how long are they going to continue to push people into looking at gold as the alternate? So
in real layman's terms, the worse things get for the likes of the American dollar being the obvious example, the better it's going to get for gold because the safer that's going to look.
Not that that's what we want, but essentially, yeah.
It is a little bit.
the resolutions to fixing the US economy and the Eurozone generally are seen as inflationary. Not so much in the short term, but definitely in the longer term. And gold historically has been anti-inflationary on the aspect of inflation being an issue.
You mentioned just before we came on air just how desperate some people are overseas to get into that, into buying gold. Tell me about that again.
Well, what we're seeing in Germany, there's a bullion trader who allows 56 people into their shops at any one time. So that for security reasons, they only allow 50 people into a shop. They have people camping out in tents, much like a Justin Bieber concert, waiting to get into this shop over a period of days to buy gold.
Okay, your advice to people who are perhaps investors being jittery, how do you buy, I mean, what do you do?
The safest way to sell it, and obviously the way we format it at New Zealand Mint, is in a physical form. It's something you can take away, it's something you can put somewhere secure, you can lock it in a box, you can leave it with us, for example, and put it into insured security. But it's also globally tradable, so you can take it offshore and sell it into other markets. You're not restricted into where you take it. And at the end of the day, if it's in your hand, you know you have it and no one else has any access to it.
Realistically, in the next couple of weeks, if it keeps going like this, it's going to crack 2,000 US an ounce, isn't it?
Yeah. Banks like JP Morgan, fairly bearish on gold in the last couple of years, and now claiming $2,500 before the end of the year.
All right, Michael, thank you for that. Mike O'Kane from NZ Mint.